What if I told you that in just a 20 by 20 space, you could grow almost everything you need for a complete meal? Fresh vegetables like row of carrots, row of beets, some lettuce. You've got an outer border of herbs. You've got storage crops for later, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, a whole trellis of beans for drying. You can put so many crops in this space. But there is one surprising crop in here that really ties the whole plate together. Can you spot it before I reveal it? When most people think about growing food, what do you see? You see rows of vegetables, right? But nature doesn't grow in rows, it grows in layers. A food forest copies that system. And when you stack the right layers together, you can grow more food in less space while building soil, while feeding pollinators and feeding yourself. So let's look at the layers that I have in my food forest island. I have two. This is one of them. For the ground layer, I have strawberries. I also have chives. Those are fun to grow by the tree. You can chop and drop them or eat them or just let them flower. Fill a little bit of potatoes here and there. Ground cherries are fantastic. Have you ever had one? So once the ground cherry falls off the plant and lands on the ground, it'll be yellow. It has that nice husk on it. You can sit these in a bowl on your table and they'll be okay for a little while. There is the fruit you eat on the inside, right there. Different shrubs and berries, fruit trees. Look at this fuzzy leaf. You have to touch the fuzzy leaf. The squash are really vining across and they make a good ground cover. Now look at this beautiful plant here. I am so happy to get this going. Drop it in the comments below. What plant do you see? What is this? Tell me the name. What is your garden giving you this August? I'd love to hear what's coming out of your space right now. Tell me in the comments below. We did have a squash vine borer in our pumpkin squash patch, but we are still seeing fruit growing. We're still going to have a harvest. If you did not see my short on the squash vine borer, go ahead and check it out on the replay. It shows what he looks like, what I'm trying to do to keep him from growing inside of my vines, and what maybe I can do next year to help prevent this. We are growing a mix of patty pans, butternut, honey nut, butterbush, Magda squash. We have pumpkins, seeds that we've saved from my mother over generations. The kids love counting the pumpkins, and I told them they still have a few months before we're going to pick them. You need to be patient. Please leave them on the vine to grow and get hard. Look at that. I don't know if that's a patty pan that's just, you know, like way mature. I'm not going to eat that white one. I'm just going to let it be for decoration. I'd love to hear what you're doing with your harvest. So this is one of those Magda squash. It's kind of like a zucchini. And the latest thing I've heard is marinating it and then grilling it. Let me know if you've tried that in the comments. We still have this left over to clean up. I haven't decided if we're going to keep it on the property or take it to a transfer station. I don't have a wood chipper, unfortunately. Check out the video Storm Damage in the Garden to see what happened, why we were without power for 12 hours. So back to my other food forest. The layers that we are building. Our canopy is our tall trees. We have Asian pears and a peach tree over here. The sub-canopy is smaller trees, dwarf varieties. We do have a shrub layer of blueberries and raspberries. The herbaceous layer, we are establishing herbs this year: sage, mint, thyme, oregano, parsley. The ground cover, like I said, was strawberries for sure, because why not? The root layer, I do garlic, and this was actually the space that had the best garlic for the harvest that I had. This is a sunny in the morning, shaded in the afternoon, and a lot of water runs through this spot. But as you see on these raspberries, I do have Japanese beetles. It happens. All I do is hand pick them into a cup of soapy water. Yes, they do damage to the foliage, the little solar panels for the plants. That's how I handle it, right? And then there's the vine layer. I don't really have a vine right now.
If you have garlic that you've harvested and cured and want to know what to do with it, check out my recent live stream, How to Store Garlic.
Oh, the rain garden. I have volunteer walnut trees that I wanted to move to another property. Look at this beautiful Mexican sunflower. This is my first one ever. I wanted way more. And then this, I thought this was corn. That's not corn. I think it's called sorghum, and it had to have germinated from birdseed because I used to feed birds in this spot. But I have things that are growing that are perennial, things that are annual, different types of flowers. This is an area where water flows when it rains heavily. Did I plant it correctly? Not so much. And then I forgot. I'm actually trying to grow cranberries. This is my second attempt. This plant's still alive. Here's what it looks like. If you know how to grow cranberries better than me, clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Let me know in the comments below. Oh, the beautiful butterfly memorial garden is filling up with beauty. Check this out. Love it so much. That's some kind of hydrangea that I just planted this year. We have orange and yellow cosmos, all kinds of other perennials. This wonderful hibiscus was given to me by my grandmother before she went into a nursing home. These are zinnias that are starting to open. They make a good cut and come again. Bouquet flower. We have the gladiolas in memory of my great grandmother. We have the wonderful colors. We have to take the gladiolas out in the winter, otherwise they don't survive. We have to replant them every spring. We have the bench, the walnut bench, made to look at the sunset in honor of my mother. And then this butterfly bush is going to be coming in the house this winter because we have to keep it. It looks so great. More gladiolas. I don't know what else to plant here this year. I think it's going to just be what it is now.
Build a bouquet with me in my members only videos. Check out the join button or subscribe plus to learn more.
Okay, so this was a fun experiment. I needed to get a fall garden space ready, and this was just weeds and grass and craziness. So I solarized it. I used this DeWitt ground cover and I placed it over the garden. I weighed it down with boards. I don't have sandbags or staples. It was in the middle of July, and then August 1st, I believe it was 2 weeks later, I pulled the cover off and look what's underneath. The solarization took care of all the weeds, all the grass, and now I can plant and mulch in this space for my fall garden. It was so easy. I needed something with less physical manpower, right? So now I'm doing it again to the row of strawberries that's so old the berries don't even produce. Here's the popcorn, if you haven't been following along. It's had 5 different windstorms, all directions. I don't think I'm going to get any popcorn off of this. It's tasseling. Some of it's definitely laying down and not coming back up. The dried beans are just barely flowering, and we could have frost by October 5th. I don't feel like I'm going to get a fully mature dried bean. The carrots are also sad. They're not putting on roots very well. Did I thin them? No. Tell me, how do you feed and take care of your carrots in the comments below. I did have radish go to flower, and then now they're making seed pods. I have ate the green seed pods before. They taste just like the radish. They're really delicious, but now I'm just letting them fully mature so I can save seed from them. Here is the fall garden. So we have 2 different varieties of peas. I did do a bush green bean and something started chewing on it. We broadcasted a bunch of turnips in the green bean bed, so we're growing in layers. I'm also using grass mulch for the first time in my garden. I have never done this, but I see it done all the time. I have things like kohlrabi, kale, Swiss chard, lettuce, broccoli, cabbage, carrots, all planted for our fall garden this year. If you use any type of season extenders, so straw bales with a glass window, cold frames, row covers with Christmas lights, maybe you have some kind of greenhouse situation, let me know in the comments below because I kind of want to know what to do.
If you would like to plant a fall garden and you don't know where to start, check out my recent live stream. Plant these now for a fall garden.
Where am I now? I am in the experimental watermelon patch. We did a ground cover of clover. I have like 9 different varieties of watermelon. We're gonna seed save from the good ones that we like and replant them next year to create our own little land race adaptation agriculture seed that is adjusted to our microclimate and what we want for our preferences of what's gonna mature the fastest and be the tastiest. I have all kinds of shapes and colors. It's super exciting.
Look at this beautiful gladiola. I am on my way to 1,000 subscribers and I need your help. Please subscribe for future monthly garden tours and weekly gardening live streams.
This is a bush campfire rose for zone 4. I kind of want to plant a whole row of bush roses now after growing this one. Here is our surprise garden volunteer squash from some compost on the beautiful arbor. That is a new addition this year to the garden. And I was trying to grow the Jack and the Beanstalk bean, but it still hasn't flowered or made a bean, and we're running out of time. It makes those big sword beans, so I'm pretty disappointed that I'm not going to see that come into fruition. We're back in that 2020 garden space. Are you ready to hear about the mystery plant? The one with the burgundy leaves. It is one of the oldest food plants in the world. It is incredible, nutrient dense. You can cook the leaves. It makes a grain protein that's like quinoa. You could actually live off amaranth as a staple crop. It is gorgeous in the garden. You can put it in bouquets. It is the thing to make your plate complete. Also, welcome to my tomato jungle of you didn't listen to correct plant spacing and you planted cowpeas with the tomatoes, and I also only have green tomatoes still. They haven't ripened for any of my slicers or saucers, but I do have plenty of cherry, salad, grape style tomatoes coming on to their little blush stage, so we are picking them. I had planted a bunch of basil and anise hyssop underneath the tomatoes, but they're getting very shaded out. You'll see them here and there. I have some beautiful Napa cabbage. See that green row for like on the ground in the path? That turned out wonderful. What a good experiment. I also have celery tucked in places if I can find it. It's, you know, I'm using twine, hemp to tie things up to the cattle panel. We're letting stuff go to seed and we'll chop and drop it. I also planted, a lot of peppers. Is it too many peppers? You tell me. I'm very happy with the marigold and calendula border around the entire garden. Now I could have done herbs, okay? And then I have one entire row of possibly way too many cucumber plants. There's a mix of pickling cucumbers, slicer, burpee, seedless, Japanese, all kinds of stuff. I have drawers full of cucumbers, but I love cucumber juice. So is it a problem? Not really. I am trying to lacto ferment some pickles to see if I like that. Again, it's all an experiment. We learn as we grow, right? Here's a nice little walkthrough of what it's like to go through my garden like if you're right there with me. This is what happens to your face. Oh, remember those fava beans I planted in June? Yeah, they all burned up in the summer heat. I tried to grow them in the fall last year and they never produced before the cold came. So if you're in Minnesota and you grow fava beans, please comment below because I need to know how to grow them because they sound like a really good food to have. So what are some things we have been doing with the harvest? Like I said, I love to juice my cucumbers with ginger and lemon and celery. I like to do 1 to 2 quarts or a quart in a pint at a time. And then in the morning, it's the first thing I drink. I love to put it over ice. I have to slice everything up so it fits in the juicer. This is a masticating juicer by Oyster, I think, if I remember right. It's the vertical kind, not the horizontal kind. And I have little kitchen helpers that love to do this job. Well, maybe it says Omega. I got the company wrong, sorry. This is summer squash, carrots, like sliced, You know, there was a yellow one and a green one with some cheese and some herbs and some oil. I wouldn't eat it again. It was a raw salad. These are the shishitos that we blistered with oil and garlic. I would do that again. This was very delicious. And then this was like an Asian cucumber thing. I would not do this again. It was not good. I don't know. I don't like it. People like it. I don't like it. Do you like it? Welcome to my dill patch. I really hope that it self-seeds itself. I love dill in dressing. I love dill just in the salad. I love it on a chicken sandwich. I put dill on everything. I love bouquets of dill in my kitchen. Love it so much. Here's some more cucumbers. That's a good size for like mini munchers. Look at the strawberry blonde marigold. I will grow these forever. This was a new addition this year thanks to a special request by Gear Grindin 19. He loves marigolds and he knows his stuff because that is a keeper for sure. Here's a little peek at the peppers going on. These marigolds are getting super tall, different varieties all over the place.
Pick peppers with me in my recent short pepper harvest.
Where do I put the bounty eggs? Where do I put this for Easter? I'll just put it in the van.
Okay, so I possibly planted way too many shishito pepper plants because I guess you only need one, and I don't know how many. I tried making a shishito pesto. This is just peppers to go in the freezer. This is a dressing or a sauce that was made with shishito peppers. I'm pickling some shishito peppers. I'm doing a quick pickle in the fridge. We'll see how it turns out. Welcome to the deck. We are trying to landscape around this deck in some fashion. I've had to move a bunch of containers here because my home where I live, my rental home, is under construction. So they're here at the garden site till I don't know when. Pink geranium is my daughter's, and we do bring that inside in the winter to then grow it out next year. This is a big experiment. All this was new this year. We're going to see what survives for perennials. Some of this is annuals just to fill the space and have beauty and pollinators and everything. This is such a beautiful marigold. Look at that. So I have a little bit of wildness going on. This tomato is coming from the ones that are in the panel. Like, look how far out it crawled. Because these ones are just on the ground. I didn't even try on this side. I can't even barely walk in here. We really packed it. Oh, look. Garden snacks. It's fun to find surprises when you didn't know something was there. Isn't gardening exciting? I love our brains on gardening. This is a new space this year. Wildflower pollinator patch. It's still blooming. It's still gorgeous. Hopefully in the future we can spend some money and develop this with more big perennial beautiful things. I actually have a really cool thing I'm trying to create, and it involves the flowers you see here. So hopefully we will see that on the channel. Make sure you're subscribed to be notified when that happens. Oh, the elderberry lane. So I think something might be eating the green elderberries, like, because they're green and then they turn color for ripeness and they just don't seem full. Here is our wildflower bed that I weeded and cleaned up. It's in a members only video, the process on my day on how that went. And there's still weeds in the bed. Okay, here we are back to the 20 by 20 space. Tell me, what would you grow in your complete meal garden? Would you want things that are for preserving, in the pantry where it didn't need work? It could just sit on the shelf or sit in the fridge. What are your go-to things that you would include? I'd love to hear your comments below. I would definitely replant this space differently. Now that I've seen it play out, because this is the first year we've grown in this spot. We did a cover crop last year in the fall, over the winter, in the spring, worked it into the soil. This is the first year growing food in this spot. Now that I see what I can do in this space, we have all winter to work together to make a really good plan for our families to be fed. What's not going well in the garden? I'd love to hear what's growing differently this year and what struggles you're having, because I have them too. Go ahead and drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this August garden tour, you'll love the next video on the screen, and I'll leave it right here for you.